What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlovich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlovich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today, our show is being you, especially when traveling with our wonderful guest, Corinna Stoeffl.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm a medical doctor who became Access Consciousness Facilitator, Akashic Record Teacher, and multiple other hats that I wear, including podcast host, who's been searching for different tools. And now I invite people to different possibilities with their health, with their life, with their relationships through private classes and sessions around the world. And Corinna here is deeply caring about her clients, has no judgment or expectation of them as a person or their life. Her aim is to support the client in developing their personal leadership skills, and that includes developing their authentic self and finding out what kind of life they would like to live apart from everybody else's ideas of what should be. And this show today, being you especially when traveling, Corinna is talking about when you're traveling, you can choose to connect with others or separate to be by yourself. What does each create? Will that work? So let's talk to Corinna about her experience traveling across the country, which is like amazes me. Hi, Corinna.
Hi. Sorry. Hi, Helen. Yeah. Interestingly, totally out of the blue, in April, I had this crazy thought, which isn't that crazy in the retrospect, to take Highway 50 across the US. I've been aware of that and I've wanted to travel it on and off, but there was always a reason why I couldn't do it at that point. Mm-hmm. Until I said, yeah, I'll go. And so I packed up everything and I have been on the road since beginning July.
Wow.
And I drove 50 across from Sacramento to Ocean City, and then hung around a little bit and took the Oregon Trail, following the Oregon Trail back west, and spent a week at my daughter's place and to just have a vacation from having a new room to sleep in, a new bed to sleep in most every single night. And it's been a really interesting experience.
Wow, that's amazing. So I know you've kind of thought about it, dreamed about it, desired it, but what precipitated actually doing it this time in April?
I guess I've always been aware that I needed a home base. And I am getting that sense sometimes, but by and large, I'm okay of not having a home base because I let go of the house that I was renting and put all my stuff into storage, not knowing how much money I would be able to make while traveling. And so not having to pay rent, in a way, I considered a help. And by and large, it has been okay. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is I'm resting way more within myself. Mm-hmm. So my house or home base travels with me vicariously. And that I have also noticed what is different is I have ease to connect with people, and I have ease to just be by myself.
Say more about that, because that's interesting. Because people a lot of times either they need people around them, or opposite, they want to be by themselves. So say more about that, because that's actually a topic of our show, right?
Yes. And what came for me to preface it is I have a background in counseling.
Mhm.
So I took the Myers-Briggs, and I came out not totally out on the introverted scale, but relatively out there. And so I labeled myself, I'm an introvert, therefore I don't want to have anything to do with people. I cannot deal with people. I cannot.
Uh-huh.
And that is different. Today, I'm in a place of choice.
Wow.
I'm getting that there is a conversation possible with that other person, and I have ease in going there
Yeah.
and have that conversation, to be interested in the other person or trigger the conversation by dropping a few snippets and then get it started. And I'm also aware that there are days where I just say, okay, I've had enough of the world. Here, I'm gone. I go to my motel room, I'm done. So,
Yeah. It's
and
interesting you
neither
say
one,
that.
neither one is dominant.
Mm-hmm. So when you say you connect with people, because on the road, you're in your car right now, right? And you stop by beautiful places. A lot of it is just nature. How do you connect with people in that environment?
I made it my rule while traveling that I will have one big meal at least once a day. So you go into a restaurant, you have people there,
Yeah.
waiters there. Like yesterday, I had a late lunch, and the owner was there, and we just started a conversation. And she actually started the conversation by just mentioning it's not that easy to run a restaurant and a motel at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of evolved from there, me being willing to engage her.
That's so cool. And I know we talk about a lot in access and other modalities like I do Akashic Records. Even our presence in people's lives tend to change whatever going on for them.
Mm-hmm.
So even with that owner, what do you know? How much did your presence, your conversation has changed his life?
Her life.
Her life, sorry.
It's okay. I didn't tell that part. I mean,
Or
there's
did
many
it? Or
places
did it?
there's many places I could go. I'll stick with what I noticed at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that she started to relax.
Oh.
I had a very relaxed energy, and yet joyful energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she started to relax. She started to have the cook, who was Native American in that restaurant, bring out the food to me. And I was just in seventh heaven, because I finally got enchiladas with green chili on top. Mexican
Wow.
restaurants don't have green chili, not really green chili. New Mexico cuisine is different from Mexican cuisine,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
having lived in New Mexico for 12 years, I like that cuisine. So it was just I was in a place of gratitude and contribution. And whatever happens, happens. I'm not trying to tell the universe you need to make this happen or that happen. Also, what do the other people choose?
Wow, I love that. That's actually a mic drop to me. You did not, you just were yourself. You were
Yeah,
being that gratitude, that space of being.
yeah,
And you allowed people to choose. That's very rare in this reality, as I get it, as I've seen people, other than with access. With, I know you're being a maestro, you're being a CF, you're being like so many hats as well. And you also had a radio show a couple of
yeah.
years ago. You even invited me on that. So, because I know a lot of people, including me, in the past, try to change people, try to make them happy, try to please them. So, what did you choose, or what tools did you use to go? Because all of us at some point were like people pleasers, and I'm
Yeah,
not sure if you
big
were,
time.
but you were. Okay, so I'm not overstepping my boundaries.
No, I was big time people pleaser.
So, how did you go from people pleaser, from trying to help people, trying to kind of like do all the good things, including control, to that allowance and choice and just being?
I would say the more I am becoming me, the more I am also getting into the space of being an allowance of what others choose. And to some extent, I have to say, just you asking the question and me quickly reflecting on it, that though those 1.5 months, almost 2 months journey have helped a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I was not in a familiar surrounding where I could fool myself of having control because I know all the players, I know the surrounding, and all of these good things. I was moving every single day. I was in a different place. So I really got it. I have no control over
Mm.
others. I can be who I am. And I have played, actually, started to play during that trip also with choosing happiness for myself. And
Wow.
it's
That,
getting to the point where it is relatively quickly. And I've had sublime days where I was just in a totally different space, a happy space, where it didn't matter that it was pouring rain or that people were obnoxious or, it just didn't faze me. I was just in that space. And not that I'm always in that space. Those were a few significant days, quote unquote.
yeah.
But I can choose to get into a happy place.
Yeah.
And it happens quickly now.
I love it. I love it. Time flies, and it's time for our first break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, and today with Corinna Stoeffl on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue talking about that happiness, happy place that Corinna created during the travels. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlovich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlovich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is being you, especially when traveling, with our wonderful guest, Corinna Stoeffl. And before we went on the break, we were talking to Corinna, and she said about the happy place that you can choose happy. You can choose everything. So can you speak more about that dirty word, awful word that nobody wants to pronounce or hear, the choice?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Everything in our life is ultimately choice. We may be cognitively aware of choosing, and most of the time we just choose because what I found true for myself, how much have I been and still am on autopilot?
Oh, wow. That's
I just
interesting.
choose without cognitively being aware of it. And how much is changing if we start or choose to become aware of our choices.
And how do we do that?
First of all, I guess what I stopped doing is making myself wrong.
Oh, you mean like getting out of judgment of us?
Yeah. It's almost like a dirtier word than choice.
Yeah, I remember Dr. Dane, one of the co-founders of Access Consciousness, he said, try to not to judge for about maybe a day. Now, okay, maybe an hour. Oh, no, maybe a minute. Yeah.
It's insidious, yeah.
It is insidious.
And I have way more become aware of the energy of something. And sometimes I catch myself, what was that? Oh, I was judging myself. Oh, I was choosing this, that, or the other, whatever it is. But it is slow going because we are so entrained to self-judgment, and we've been raised to judge ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we do something wrong and you made mom or dad sad. You know, how much power
Or
do
angry.
we have which we don't have?
Yeah. And how much of that actually translates into us looking to the world through the glasses of that judgment.
Through those glasses, exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting for me because just to relay an incident from the trip, I was visiting a fort, and I am familiar what U.S. soldiers did to Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And visiting that fort, all of that came up again. And how could you be such a person and do that? And it's really been interesting. Dane is so much in my brain or head, or I would rather call it my world. But I almost heard Dane say, you cannot judge what you have not been or done.
Exactly.
And so I stopped myself right at that moment and said, whoa, how much was I one of those soldiers that I'm judging?
Yeah.
And that totally shifted it for me.
Wow.
There,
So basically, like for people who are not familiar with access consciousness, I just want to refer them back to the website. You can find out more about access consciousness on accessconsciousness.com. And we talk about that we've been and done everything
yeah,
throughout trillions of years of different lifetime, because you can call it soul, you can call it being, you can call it entity, you can call it anything that we are, that consciousness inside of us, that's been alive for many different lifetimes. And if everybody thinks that they've been only princesses and kings and queens and wonderful people, not so much. We've been and done everything, right, Corinna?
yeah, just look at the percentage of people who are kings and queens or that kind of nobility during their lifetime, and the common people, the peasants. Most likely we've been peasants too.
Yeah, so I would say a little bit of everything. And I love what you said. We cannot judge something that we haven't been or done. And the way you kind of like described it, it's amazing. So is that one of the tools of access consciousness? I think it is, right? Like,
It's a tool, and I have to admit, I came across that particular thing way before Access.
mm-hmm.
It's basically was in a different form of Course in Miracles that
Yeah.
I came across it. So it's not unique to Access, but it's been really helpful being willing to live the tools more instead of doing the tools.
Exactly. Exactly. And I did encounter that as well before Access in Woman Within. And I love the expression they had, you spotted, you got it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But you also kind of like twisted it a little bit with Access Consciousness tool, saying that if I was that before, and kind of like let it go.
Yeah. I mean, if I've been it, what right do I have to judge it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And it's such an easy way of looking at stuff and getting out of judgment. And yet, so few people look at that.
Yes. And
mhm.
do people not look at it also to some extent because most people do not believe that this is their only time around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They do think that it is, that's it. But more and more people recognize that we've been and done much more than just this lifetime.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And with, especially with dreams, with meeting people that you think you know from different lifetimes, it it really like you know those people, and you did, and you did. So how much of that did you encounter through your travels, seeing all those people from past lives? I'm just wondering.
All I can say is definitely not cognitively.
Okay.
You know, and on the other hand, does it matter?
No.
Am I willing to be with the other person, with whoever that other person is? Because if let's say I would recognize them from a past life, would I then say, oh, you're so and so, and I need to relate to you from that perspective?
Yeah.
And this way I can just be who I am with who the other person is.
So are we coming back to the same idea of the dirty word of choice? Because I know I talk a lot about reincarnation in my shows, especially that I do a lot of Akashic record work. And because if you met somebody in previous lifetime and meet them here now, a lot of times if you don't have the tools to look at that from the choice point of view, you automatically go into that autopilot of the same relationship you had before, either maybe marriage that you had before, or maybe killing energy, or battle,
Abusing.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there is no choice. There is no being who we are anymore.
Yeah.
And it's time for our second break of the show. So we'll discuss more about what it is to travel and being you in that light with Corinna. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlovich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlovich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlovich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlovich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlovich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlovich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is being you, especially when traveling with our wonderful guest, Corinna Stoeffl. And Corinna, I know you have your own YouTube channel, which is being in awareness. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you've done a lot of classes, you've done some counseling, and so what are your plans for the future? Like right now, like you're traveling, but are you still in connecting with people in your life, that your clients, classes, or is it for the future?
The one thing that has stayed a constant with one friend, I have been doing a Facebook Live on Tuesdays for over a year called Conversations with the Earth. And on some extent, while I was traveling, the topics that we talked about were also influenced by experiences that I had, conversations that I had with people. So it's really been quite productive, and I plan on utilizing some of that even to go back to the podcasts that I can remember. I haven't been doing podcasts for a few months now, but going back to podcasting and even doing Zoom conversations with people. So really utilizing the experiences that I have and what it evokes in me, the knowledge that comes up, the awarenesses that are coming up, and just working with those. And then I don't have any specific plans beyond that. I rather let it evolve on its own, wherever that leads. And I may come up with some crazy ideas in between now and then.
That's wonderful. And I know you have a gift for everybody who is listening now, live or in the future.
Yeah.
And that's a 7-day of meditation with Earth. There would be a download link in podcast later on, so people can find it. And can you say a little bit more about what is that? I mean, it's self-explanatory, 7-day of meditation, but
it's for a while, and I haven't been doing it while traveling because it's just a little bit too crazy. But I have been doing a 15-minute meditation where it was just asking people questions. We like to go back to something we talked about. We believe we need to judge. Does the earth judge?
Yeah.
What if we stop judging? What would happen? How is that for you? It's just bringing the earth in, how the earth behaves different from us humans. And how would it be if we take on more of Earth's behavior?
Wow. Can you do a little bit of that? Maybe not 15 minutes, but maybe a minute or a couple of minutes to demonstrate this?
Yeah, I need to switch.
Because I love playing with our audience to kind of do some exercises, expansion exercise or breath work or something like that. That would be awesome if you'd like.
We can do that. So for the moment, just really feel your butt in your seat, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, on your tummy, wherever it's comfortable for you. And connect with the earth. And it's just choosing to connect with the earth. And expand out. The earth, we acknowledge, is relatively large. But can we expand out even larger than the earth and encompass, embrace the earth? And when you do that, what comes up for you? Do you feel small? Or do you feel huge, spacious, incredibly spacious? What is it for you? And there could be anything in between the small and the spacious. And do you perceive a shift within you as a result of the space that you are? Does the earth play small? Or is the earth whoever she is? Is the earth space? Is the earth a creator, willing to create whatever she chooses to create? Without a point of view. Is the earth limited or abundance? What do you get? And what are you willing to choose?
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Corinna.
You're
My whole
welcome.
body is tingling right now.
Mine too. And I'm space.
Yeah, and I'm space as well. And how much of that actually can change our world that's going on right now?
It could if, and you know, for every single person, their personal world can change depending on what they choose.
Yeah.
And the more people that are choosing space and not fear, not judgment,
Mm-hmm.
the more this reality will change.
Yeah.
It's not that we are powerless. And yesterday the conversation was about how much a point of view that we take can actually be disempowering.
Yeah.
Because as a sudden, there is nothing I can do to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
And is that true? Not from my perspective.
Not from mine either.
So, what is possible?
Yeah, and I love that you keep asking those questions because in this reality, in this world, people are looking for answers. People
Mhm.
are looking for the right answer. which is nothing more than another judgment or conclusion.
Yeah.
And while asking questions and being the question, it opens up the possibility for something different. So, because I know I had a person in my class that actually stormed out of the class because I wouldn't give the answers. And made me totally wrong, and I had no idea about that because she never said that until a year later somebody else mentioned why she stormed out, and I'm like, because I made myself wrong for that. But when I heard it, it's like, oh, I actually did the job.
Yeah.
Stirring the pot. Because when we ask those questions, and I want to kind of like, for people who are not familiar with Access, when we ask those questions, it's not about looking for the answers to those questions. It's opening to the universe to answer it.
And that answer often comes as in form of an energy.
Yeah.
That at least I am someone who translates that energy into the words that I perceive underneath or on top or whichever way. And that was the beauty of driving.
Yeah.
Because my brain was busy with the driving. And I could be the question, I could ask questions, and I could perceive.
So wait, so it's not your brain asking the questions.
It's you, the being, who's
The
asking
being.
the question.
Can you speak more about the difference?
Technically, no, let me backtrack. Because that's how I grew up. This is priced real estate.
Yeah.
The smarter you are, the more you can use your brain, the more you can twist and turn and look from different angles at things, and the more possibilities you can perceive.
Yeah.
According to this reality. What has happened for me over the years with Access? Initially, Access is very logical, so my brain was fully engaged in Access. But I totally missed the boat, so to speak, until I learned to perceive the energies. And today I'm in a place where it doesn't matter so much what words you say to me. I'm more interested in the energy that I perceive either with the words or missing with the words in case someone is incongruent. And that is where it's at for me.
Yeah.
And it's the body that perceives the energy.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. We'll talk more after the break and talk about what comes up and what's coming up in the future. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlovich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlovich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is being you, especially when traveling, with our guest, Corinna Stoeffl. And our show is kind of coming to the end, but it's not the end, because we will be coming back on next Wednesday with another show. Creating Abundance with Ease every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time and 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And next week we'll be talking how much fun is your life. And before we go there yet, I would like to kind of like wrap things up with you, Corinna, about what is kind of like your traveling that's coming up and where you're going from here.
Basically, the agenda for this part of the travel is traveling to areas that might be a possible place for me to live and to see if this place is calling me or not.
That's interesting. So, any specific places, spaces that's calling for you now?
Right now, in the coming days, I plan on, since I'm in New Mexico and I have lived in New Mexico for 12 years, I'm visiting friends. But then I want to move into more southwestern Colorado and hit a few places there. And there is potentially one place in Wyoming. And then I'll see, it's to some extent also looking at the map and throwing a dart. Or better, which jumps out at me.
Isn't that the same like we were talking just before the break, that you're asking questions and looking for the response from your body, from...
Exactly. And as I'm doing that, I find that I'm learning what is important in a way or not for me to have. Because I've done so many choices and I'm going to live here from a headspace. This is close to an airport, there's this or that or whatsoever. But I've never done it from that, which place is really making me, my body feel alive and settled. So we'll see.
That's a different notion. I don't think in this world anybody talks about it.
No, probably not. And that's probably also why I haven't up to now.
I'm so happy to have you here on the show. It's amazing. I love our conversation, and especially with, and that probably should be our tool for this week, is asking those questions and sensing it in our body, the response, the looking for the answers in the universe that will show us what is next, what do we choose, and actually being in that choice. Because isn't that what we, and knowing, and you were going to say something?
Knowing that the universe has our back.
Oh, that's a biggie. That's a whole new conversation. Because a lot of people don't even realize that the universe has our backs. It's the opposite. They look at the universe saying that it's a punishment, it's this and that, and it happens. Instead of I'm choosing it, the universe supports our choices. And good, bad, or ugly. The universe doesn't have a judgment.
Yep.
We choose something not so productive, to say it mildly. The universe says, you'd like that? Cool.
Yep.
Let's do that.
I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm. It's like always reminds me of that joke of um, pretty much the angel, or you can call it universe, sitting behind somebody in a bus and writing. And the person is thinking, I have an awful wife, I had bad children, I had bad job, I don't have money, and all of that. The person is writing behind him and thinking, the angel, let's say, it's like, interesting wishes this person has. Okay, I'll make it happen. Because whatever we concentrate, the universe actually gives us.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling and you're concentrating on the stuff that's choice, that's gratitude, that space, the universe gives you that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have only a few minutes left. Again, so grateful for you being on the show, for you choosing it. And I will be back by myself this time next week with the topic of are you having fun in your life? Or how much fun is your life?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm doing a few classes coming up for people who would like to join me. Being You with Money introductory class on August 31st. I'm doing co-facilitating Being You with Body on September 2nd. There is 2 body classes that's coming up. One of them starts tomorrow in Asheville, North Carolina, and one in Chicago next weekend. Bars classes, facelift classes. Join me around the world. And Corinna, do you have any classes coming up?
Right now, I'm staying away from classes, or let's say staying away from multi-day classes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on Zoom classes that are 2 hours, more like intro classes.
Cool. So I think they can find you on your website,
Yes.
correct? Which is
beinginawareness.com.
perfect. Thank you. I was looking for that link.
Yeah.
I knew it was simple. And you can probably find you on Instagram, on Facebook, under the same name, under your name.
Yeah.
Can they reach you through email?
Yeah. If they shoot me an email at Corinna at beinginawareness.com.
Perfect. So you heard it.
Yeah.
You can reach Corinna, you can reach me on Creating Abundance with Ease, and you can ask any questions. You can also join a live audience on a Zoom with us next week or any weeks when we do live show. It's actually now on not just audio, it's on the app, Fire Choices Network app. You can find a lot of podcasts and hosts there. You can join me on YouTube, Spotify, lots of other things that's out there, including TV. We are on Smart TV, on Binge TV, and we love having questions sent before, and you can sign up. And Corinna, are you okay?
I will need to get something to drink.
Yeah, that's why I have my water all the time. And we'll see you later. Till next time, love you all. And on next Wednesday, as I said, we'll be back at 11 o'clock. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlovich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life. and start creating magic in your life and your body.